Hello, and welcome to Law Talk. My name is John Celebrezze, and I'm the co-founder of the Celebrezze Zanghi Community Legal Education Project, as we call it, CZ-CLEP for short. Our organization provides continuing education about the judiciary and legislature to attorneys, judges, government officials, and the general public. As a career educator, I recognize early on how important legal matters are and how they impact our lives. I am the nephew of the late Anthony J. Celebrezze, who was the popular 5-term mayor of Cleveland and a member of President Kennedy's cabinets. As a tribute to his lifetime commitment to the legal process, we dedicate this show. Our guest today is attorney William Perry. Mr. Perry is the managing partner of Perry & Associates, a consumer law firm located in Westlake, Ohio. He is a 2001 graduate of the Cleveland Marshall College of Law and a member of the Ohio State Bar Association. Over the past several years, Mr. Perry has helped hundreds of Ohio consumers who have been victimized by fraudulent conduct, unfair business practices, and faulty products. Welcome, Bill.
Thanks. Nice to be here.
Bill, this is obviously I wrote some questions down here for you. A topic that I think our viewers would be very interested in our current economic state. I mean, I guess there's always consumer activity going on, but right now we've actually had 2 shows on foreclosures alone. We had Judge James Kimbler speak from the Common Pleas Court, which his docket now is very heavily laden with foreclosures, and we also had Attorney Steve Bailey come in and talk about foreclosures. So there's no doubt about it. We have some problems with our economy, and they may very well be impacting on what you're doing. What type of legal issues does a consumer lawyer deal with?
Well, consumer law is a pretty broad category in the area of law. Typically, consumer claims involve any type of transaction in which the consumer is victimized by unscrupulous business practices. In terms of the actual laws that come into play most often in consumer law, the Ohio Consumer Sales Practices Act is one. Yeah. The Fair Credit Reporting Act, which is a federal law, as is the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, come into play with a number of my clients. We have a number of cases involving odometer fraud on automobiles, and we also deal primarily with breach of warranty and the area where I spend most of my time, and that's lemon law.
Lemon law.
Lemon law.
Lemon law. Boy, that's something I haven't heard the term lemon involving a car for many, many years. What is it? What is the lemon law?
Well, lemon, I don't know the actual origin of the term, though I've read that it came about because it leaves a sour taste in your mouth.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
So that term has been applied to sour deals, typically involving automobiles.
Nice.
So Ohio has a lemon law. In fact, every state has a lemon law. Most of them came in the late 1970s and in the early 1980s, and they typically protect consumers who have purchased defective or faulty motorized vehicles, typically cars, but it can also be recreational vehicles, motorcycles, ATVs.
I see. I see.
Mm-hmm.
So caveat emptor, buyer beware. The legislature has given the consumer a remedy here by this law, or
they have. Caveat emptor does apply to a lot of automobile sales, but thankfully for people who buy new cars, and there are some limits and parameters within the lemon law that need in order for it to apply. But people who have bought new cars who can have certain types of problems within a certain period of time, there is a law and a remedy available to them.
I see, and it's a state law. I mean, you would litigate it in a state court.
It is a state law, and all 50 states have lemon laws, and thankfully for Ohio consumers, Ohio is one of the strongest.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what should an Ohio consumer know about the lemon law?
Well, the first thing they should know is that it exists.
Well, that's a good point.
It's amazing to me, and how many people, when I tell them what I do for a living, they say, "Oh, I bought a car X number of years ago. I had all kinds of problems with it. Drove me crazy. I had to trade it in, and they took a big loss."
Yeah.
But before you do that, you should know that there is a law out there to protect you, and you should look at that law and see if it can cover your particular situation. Like I said, there are a number of parameters that need to be in place in order for the law to be effective for you. So we can kind of go through those real quickly. First of all, the lemon law in Ohio only pertains to new vehicles.
Okay.
And even with new vehicles, it's only vehicles that manifest certain problems within a certain period of time. It's either the first year or 18,000 miles. So if, and again, it's a motorized vehicle, so it's not necessarily an automobile. It could be a recreational vehicle,
pickup truck,
or airplane, the scooters that disabled people sometimes use to get around. All those are covered by Ohio's lemon law. So the law basically says that if in the first year or 18,000 miles, whichever occurs earlier, if you experience a number of problems, either the same problem over and over, or one very dangerous problem that isn't corrected, or a lot of different problems, then you are entitled to your money back, or a replacement vehicle, and it's the consumer's choice.
I see.
So the things to keep in mind there is, that time period is very important.
Yeah, well, I think our viewers I think we should just go back just for a minute, because that's important. You say 1 year from the date of purchase of the vehicle?
1 year from the date of delivery or purchase of the vehicle.
Okay. Well, so you got 12 months, and if
or 18,000 miles, whichever occurs earlier.
The remedy, I guess, in the vocabulary of a lawyer, it's rescission, right?
Right.
I mean, which simply means that the contract puts the consumer, the participant here, the consumer, right back in the position he was before he entered into the contract.
That's exactly right. And that includes in the automobile sale the money you paid for the vehicle, any money you paid on closing fees, document fees, interest that you paid during the course of the whatever payment you might have made to a lien holder until you got the vehicle back. And even it could include things like hotel or rental car if this vehicle left you stranded during that lemon law period.
Wow, that's I guess that's good to know. And I take it in your everyday practice, pairing associates, you have people on a regular basis approaching you with these type of problems?
All the time, all the time. And the problems, we need, in order to qualify for the law, for rescission under the lemon law, the law does state certain types of problems have to exist. So what you have to have in order to have a sustainable lemon law claim is in that first year, 18,000 miles, you have to have a defect in the vehicle that the manufacturer or the authorized dealer has been unable to repair after 3 tries.
I see.
Okay. And it's not just any defect. It has to be a type of defect that the law describes that substantially impairs the use, value, or safety of the vehicle. So there's always a question of whether the defect you have.
Could you give us an example of maybe what would be an example of something that does that?
Sure. I'll give you an example on each end.
Okay.
So a transmission problem. Certainly that would affect the operation of the vehicle.
Sure.
It would impair the use, value, and safety depending on if it were to go out on you while you were in traffic, or et cetera.
Or on a trip or whatever.
So that one's, there's not much argument there whether that impairs the use, value, or safety of the vehicle. Let's look on the other end. Maybe you're unhappy with the paint job on the hood of your car. That's probably a little more of an argument whether that type. There is case law that would show things like a faulty paint job do substantially impair the use, value, and safety of the vehicle, because people, when you spend that kind of money on a new vehicle, you're expecting a certain quality of product.
And I guess it's the sign of the times, but the price of automobiles, even with the declining real estate market, is a hefty amount of money, and I guess somebody would lay out $40,000 for a car is going to want the paint job to be, I guess, perfect. I mean, think about it there.
Absolutely.
So that could actually